I would like to call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, it's August already and halfway through. Somehow we blinked and missed it. We will start with the good news report.
And I'm going to introduce our good news report tonight. We have a school spotlight on Renberg Elementary, and our principal, Patty Pinnell, is here to do that update. So Patty, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here tonight to spotlight our wonderful little school out in the country. As Dr. Stevens said, I'm the principal at Renberg Elementary. We are the home of the Bobcats. So Renberg Elementary is a little bit different from a lot of the schools in Sioux Falls. Renberg was the result of the consolidation of the Renner and Berg Common School Districts. And so when the two schools consolidated in 1964, they combined their names to create the name Renberg. And then in 1971, Renberg became a part of the Sioux Falls School District. Most often when I tell people I work at Renberg, they get a funny look on their face and say, well, where is that? And it is because we are kind of far out there in the country. If you've been out to Renberg, there is a bell in front of our school, and it's from the original Renner Schoolhouse, which there's a picture of the bell there that you can see, and also a picture of the original Renner Schoolhouse. Renberg currently has, as of today, has 169 students enrolled for the 2023-2024 school year, and that is continuing to fluctuate as the days go by. I think we're gonna come out ahead or higher than the 169. We have 35 full and part-time staff. We do have a lot of part-time staff because we're such a small school. So all of our specials are part-time, and most of our all of our related services providers are also part-time. Our attendance area includes the Northwest Sioux Falls and then also the town of Renner. Our boundaries, as you all know, were temporarily adjusted last year to accommodate for the rapid growth in our attendance area. Last year, we were bursting at the seams. One interesting fact that I was reminded of when I looked at the new boundary areas map is that we have the largest home attendance area in the district, but the smallest enrollment. So, yeah, so clearly we draw from a very rural area that's still within the Sioux Falls School District. As I said, it's the smallest school, and to highlight that we truly are in a rural setting, I did a Google Earth picture to kind of capture. As you can see, we have fields behind our playground area, behind our field area. We have fields across the highway in front of our school. And just down the road, directly to the west of the school, there is a goat farm, which staff really enjoy, and they've asked me a number of times if we could maybe rent out the goats to do a little goat yoga, but I wasn't sure how finance would feel about an invoice from a goat farm, so I have not followed up on that. But we do enjoy seeing them playing in their area every day on our way to and from school. So this is our demographics of our Bobcats. As you can see, we are pretty diverse. We have 54% students who are in the white category. We have multiracial at 16%, Native American, I always have a hard time reading these. Native American is 3%, Hispanic is 14%, and Black and African American are 10%, and then we have a very small Asian Pacific Islander percentage at 1.2%. One of the things that we've really been working on for the last couple of years at Renberg that we're really proud of is we've worked really hard to develop really good learning intentions and success criteria in English language arts and math. And then along with that, we've implemented goal binders for students so that they each have a personal goal in reading and one in math, as well as goals for their growth in the MAP growth assessment. And so as we are moving forward, we will continue to have a really strong focus on that reading and math development, and we'll use the MAP growth assessment to really track that growth and make sure that we are heading in the right direction. Something that we're really proud of this past year is our PTA. So during and after the pandemic, our PTA became very inactive. So during this last school year, we had a very dedicated and passionate group of parents who resurrected our PTA. And we had a variety of activities for our students that were sponsored. We had a fall fun run fundraiser. We did a trunk or treat, which was a huge success. We had boograms. We had a movie night, which again was a huge success. We did Valentine grams. And then at the end of the year, we did a Think About Your Future Week, which was just a great opportunity for our kids to see some of the different types of employment that they could have as when they became adults. And so here's some pictures from our Think About Your Future Week. As you can see, we had the mayor, Paul Tenhagen, out, and he read his book to our kindergarten through second grade students. We had a canine officer out with his dog and talked to the kids about what that job entailed and how he worked on training those dogs. And we had a number of other speakers that came out to individual classrooms as well. And the kids really, really enjoyed that. So we're really proud of our PTA. Some of our partnerships that we have for the last few years, we've had an amazing partnership with the Point is to Serve Church. The Point donates backpacks filled with school supplies at the beginning of each year. They've donated money so that we can purchase t-shirts and books for students at Renberg. And during the winter months, they have been amazing at donating the winter gear because we so often have kids that are in need of that winter gear. And this year, we're very excited that we will also begin partnering with Promising Futures. So a couple years ago, we did a picture at our 150th anniversary, and I love that picture. And when I see it, I always think we're small, but we're mighty. And that is Renberg Elementary in a nutshell.
Yes. Anybody have any questions or comments?
No, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I did not know the history of how it got its name, and I have lived in this town for 44 years. So thank you for telling us that. I just knew it was a school out there, so that's very interesting. And I was also going to just comment quickly on your PTA and what a huge difference just a handful of passionate parents can make in a school. And the things that you listed, I'm sure took a lot of work to do.
They did.
But what a great first year back, and what an amazing opportunity for your kids to be able to have that fun in their school. There's something about watching a movie in your school gym or in your library or whatever it is after hours, you know, and so it's little things like that. So kudos to your parents and the admin out there for supporting that as well. And I'd hope to continue to see that growing and see more experiences for those kids. And maybe you will get goat yoga. You never know.
Maybe PTA can do goat yoga.
Yes.
Since we have a couple new board members, if some of you have never been to Renberg and you want to go, we'd be happy to set up a little visit because I think we should all I get out there on my visits, but it's not just on the way to many places unless you're maybe driving to Brookings. So
I'm not very new, and I am sad to admit I've never been inside the building. My son has a friend that actually lives near there, and that's the only time I actually saw Renberg was picking him up one day.
we'll do some field
This
trips.
is where Renberg is, so.
Yeah, it's a
We
great
would
little
be
school.
very happy to have any of you come and visit.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion and a second to approve or to acknowledge the good news report, please?
So, second.
I have a motion and a second. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. That passes. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the meeting held July 24th of 2023?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those are approved. I have no slips for feedback today, either on non-agenda or agenda items. So we will go down to approval of the agenda. Please, a first and a second.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a first and a second on approval of the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. Conflict of interest. Nothing new for today. And then approval of the consent agenda. So we are going to do 9A through D. I can get a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes. And then we have the supplemental, and we will do 10A through, or A 1 through 3 on that. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes 4-1 with an abstention from myself. And we have reports of the superintendent.
We have two reports tonight. The first one is going to be an update on the many things we've had happening that fall under professional development from Sarah Clausen. And then following that, Becky Dorman is going to give us an update on our staffing for the year. So Sarah, we'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you. As Dr. Stavum alluded, August is the busy season of staff development. Although I haven't found a not busy season yet, it's just preparing for busy season or in busy season or executing busy season. So here we go. We started this summer with staff development opportunities with lots of different groups. Each group gets onboarded at different times, even though August is the busiest one for many of these. But in the summer, we had all of these opportunities to learn, continuing on some of our current initiatives and then adding in new ones as we go. Our administrators, interns, and instructional coaches go through their own onboarding and training to make sure everybody is on the same page. And then just this morning, we, some of you as well, welcomed 140 new teaching staff to our school district. And our curriculum coordinators got them kicked off and overwhelmed and ready to start all at the same time. They go through content, everybody's learning the new LMS, Canvas, so that's new for everybody, so it makes everybody feel better. I'm not going to read every single bullet point, but the summary is there is a lot that goes into getting every group and every person ready to serve all of our students, and it's all important. But what you'll see through all of these is a couple different themes. You'll see everybody's getting technology training, everybody's getting some training on new curriculum that's been adopted, and then themes for everybody also include cultivating learning and customer service for everybody. A few more groups. We employ a lot of people. And then August kicked off with this opportunity for all staff to participate in the Inspire Conference. This was year 2 of Inspire happening in this format in August. We had 6 national speakers, and then we had quite a few of our own speakers who inspired our staff as well. So here's a few quotes from some staff that were able to attend. This conference was inspiring and interesting, and it helped me get excited for this year of teaching and learning. Thank you for another wonderful conference. Both last year and this year, I came away with ideas affirmed and new goals for the new year. And then this was my first time attending the Inspire Conference, and it was definitely worth it. I learned new strategies I can use in the classroom and made new connections with others. So that was just a little taste of the Inspire Conference that happened earlier. That is my summary of staff development for this year.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Just know that there's obviously a lot that goes into getting everyone ready for the kickoff of the school year, and this is obviously a huge piece of it, and know that you guys work year-round to get to this point where everyone gets through their trainings, and so we can kick off strong in a couple weeks. So thank you.
I wanted to say thank you too. I was able to attend the first day with Allie Hearn, and then I attended her special session, and the folks that I met in there were really driven and excited for the year. For you to be able to put something on like that to make everybody feel so motivated and excited for the year is really great. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I want to give just a shout out. Today we had our new hire breakfast and then training this morning and then a lunch. And so we want to first thank First Interstate Bank. They sponsored the breakfast. And then we want to give a shout out to Tim Eckert and our friends at SFEA for sponsoring the lunch. And we've had many other people who've contributed to a lot of these events along the way. Sometimes it's items or time or spaces or different things, but we appreciate those partnerships in making these things really come to life. So that's a great shout.
I think the one thing that I appreciate is our not one size fits all type of training. And I know a lot of times when you start a new job, they tell you, oh, you're going to have training, and you're like, ugh, And so I'm hoping, and I feel confident that we're able to provide things that don't make people kind of groan, and that they can get excited and learn and come away feeling with more energy than just having sat in a chair all day and listened to somebody else talk. So I greatly appreciate that kind of targeting of different people so that people feel like that spoke to me, not to everybody else that was in my school. So thank you to everybody for their hard work and coordinating all the different groups, and hopefully all of our groups of people are ready to hit the ground running. All right, can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the 2023 Professional Development Report?
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Next, we have Becky.
And while she gets her slides transitioned, I have to say that as I read through the report for tonight for our staffing update, I was pleasantly surprised. You know that workforce is an issue across the United States, particularly shortages in staffing for schools and for education. And while it has not been easy, our human resources department and our school administrators have been working really hard to get things filled. And we are in really good shape, all things considered. So this is an update, although we know we'll have changes even from now until the days right before and even right after, and even had a change this morning. So you just never know, but we're really proud of their work. Appreciate it, Becky.
Thank you. Well, continuing along the theme of what we did this summer, right, Sarah? We'll have the staffing update. It really is an exciting time, welcoming several hundred new staff, today, and we'll welcome some more later this week and even next week as we continue hiring. As Dr. Stavum had mentioned, it is a team effort along with school administration and our human resources team. I'm the lucky one that gets up to stand up here and talk about this, but really I couldn't do it without the HR folks and the work that they do and the talent that they bring to the table. So I just thought I would put a slide of them up there so you can see the other HR staff that worked so hard this summer. In my slide, you might notice some of the numbers look a little different than maybe even what you read in your report. I updated as things changed the best that I could. So I wanted to have the most current information possible this evening. So right now we're sitting at 146 teachers that are new to the Sioux Falls School District. Within that 146, we have 4 former teachers who were with us, left, and now we're back. And very exciting, 11 former teacher pathway students from our high schools were hired this year. So that was fun as well. You'll notice that we are down significantly from the past 2 years. And that was kind of the perfect storm of fewer retirements, fewer leaves of absence, fewer new positions that were created, and then also we had some positions that we purposely funded through May of 2023 at the secondary level. That's when those positions ended, and we were able to absorb those folks into our existing vacancies. So when you cook all those things together, you have fewer hires that you have to make. So it definitely felt a little bit different this summer than it had in the past couple years. Now, looking closer at our new hires, if we look back the previous 6 years, we averaged 159 new teachers, so we are definitely below that. One thing that is not below that is that 53% of the people we hired are new to the profession. So thank goodness instructional coaches. They're going to be busy this year with our 78 staff that are new to the profession. Our average years of experience is down just a little bit, which would make sense when half of the people that you hire are new at this, as are the number of teachers that come to us with master's degrees. And then another little interesting piece is 72% of the people in our new hire category this year have less than 5 years of teaching experience. So that is lower than usual. Looking at who joined us, this is probably my favorite slide because I love to see it when we promote people from within. So we held steady with substitute teachers being the largest category of our new hires, along with some education assistants, specialists, some employment contract, and then also a clerical staff member. So that would be a total of 59 people that were with us last year in a different capacity are now leaders in our classrooms. We're down just a little bit in the number of out-of-state teachers that we've hired, but still above our 6-year average of 25%. Here's a look at where all of our out-of-state teachers came from. And Kate from the HR department actually took the time to map out in color here where all these different locations are, so you can get a visual representation of where our out-of-state teachers come from, with Minnesota being the largest number, which is new for us. We typically haven't hired that many folks from Minnesota, so thank you, Minnesota. Now we'll take a look at our South Dakota hires that came to us with some experience. Where did they come from? So I have them listed here. Out of this group, those 16 of them I would consider like local hires. They were people that came to us within 1 hour, probably didn't require a move. They just made a job change and decided to teach in Sioux Falls. And consistent with our focus of our district priorities, our new teacher diversity percentage is up over last year. And then overall, our teacher diversity percentage is up just a little bit as well. So we keep making gains on that percentage, which is important. taking a look at our teacher vacancies that remain. I am confident that a few of these will be filled here by the end of the week as we look at elementary numbers, either from shifting staff around or perhaps able to do some hiring. And this is an interesting slide. HR goes through great detail to try and figure out if someone leaves us, why did they leave and where did they go? So here's 3 years of that data. I put stars by the top 3 reason categories, and we know that just under 26% of the 131 teachers who resigned, not retired, resigned, are teaching in a nearby school district. Almost 20% left the profession. And then the third highest category, 16% are staying home with children or had family matters that they needed to take care of. So as we're wrapping up teacher hiring, the hiring isn't quite done yet. We have our support staff that we're still working on. So far we have hired 183 support staff. And then when I say support staff, I have those folks listed here who I'm talking about. And we have 106 vacancies remaining yet. So if you go to our website and start counting, it takes a little while to count those up. So we'll be working on those deep into September to get those all filled. Substitute staff, we've hired 102 so far. Those apps are coming in nicely. We want to hire 150 more by mid-October to meet our needs by the time cold and flu season starts. We implemented weekly pay for substitutes last year, and that has made a difference. We've even had some folks who were hesitant last year to switch pay are jumping over and getting that weekly paycheck now. So your work is rewarded more quickly. Thus, you're interested in taking that Friday job that we're begging you to take because you'll know you'll get paid for it that next Wednesday. So. For our substitute staff, a lot of folks in our community, their experience in school has either been their own experience or maybe they were parents. So we make sure that we provide them paid training, in-person training and online, and of course they were all invited to Sarah's Inspire in-service as well. Some of our recruitment keys, I'm not going to talk about them all, but there's a couple of them I would like to highlight. You might have in the last week got a postcard in the mail. Postcards certainly are not innovative, but they are effective. We could see a spike right away when the postcards hit the mail. People were applying, especially for substitute teaching. Now I'm just hoping that trickles to our education assistants and custodians as well. If you drive around Sioux Falls, you probably see some billboards reminding people that we are a top employer in Sioux Falls and we have positions for really everybody. We like to do an event that's called Breakfast with the Boss or Bagels with the Boss, where we invite our student teachers in. And they hear, of course, from Dr. Stavum, but they also learn about what it's like when you start a job in the Sioux Falls School District and the supports you receive as a brand new teacher. And then another piece that we are looking at, and I'm going to touch on a little bit more, is international hiring. That is an avenue that we are really starting to explore for positions outside of Spanish immersion. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on and see if that's a direction we want to go. I brought up international hiring because it's very relevant to this next slide. We've had 904 unique applicants for our teaching positions. As we drilled down closer, we realized that 34% of this 904 are candidates outside the US. So if you take those away and you've only got about 600 teaching applicants, that's pretty skinny for trying to fill 200 jobs, right? So that could become more of a factor for us. 48% of our applicants are from South Dakota. That number has decreased. That used to be around 65 or 70%. And One piece that I did notice was the years of service or the experience of our applicant pool has increased, and I believe that is due to our international educators applying. They're coming to us or want to come to us from other countries, and they have teaching experience. We're holding consistent with the number of applicants or candidates that are pursuing alternative certification. That is the plan that is approved by the Department of Ed to allow us to hire individuals with bachelor's degrees and help them fast track to becoming teachers in our schools. That type of pathway is available for people that can teach 5th grade on up. Kindergarten through 4th, that isn't an option. Of course, we always like to look at how often we get rejected. Nobody likes to focus on rejection, but it's part of the job. Our acceptance rate of contracts has ticked up a little bit, and that's great news because a lot of people put a lot of work in before the offer is even made. So the more that we can get yes the first time, the better. Then, of course, the work ahead. Really, HR met with our last group of teachers on Friday. We've been meeting with them all summer to help orientate them to the district. And we're already starting to plan ahead for next year. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do based on how things went this year? The majority of that is guided by our district priorities. And of course, we're gonna continue to focus on innovative recruitment. We have to focus on staff retention because the easiest way to find staff is to keep those that you have. We have to focus on competitive compensation and benefits, and then of course, consider our employee feedback. We already have started surveys going out to our new staff to see how their first week with HR has gone and what other services or what other supports we can provide to them. So that wraps up our staffing update. I ask that you acknowledge this fall 2023 staffing update. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
I think it's refreshing. I was a little concerned. You guys done a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think in general, I think people don't really like to fill out surveys. And so I'm gonna put my plug in for all of our new staff that in order for us to make this better and the best, any feedback that we can get is good. Whether it's something you didn't like or something that you did like, tell us because we care and we wanna know and we want other people to have good experiences. So if you are out there or you work with anybody that may be getting a survey, encourage them to complete that and be honest and give us that feedback because it is very competitive and you have to do something to set yourself apart and you have to do something to make people know that they're wanted here and that they're valued. And so whatever we can do as a district to continue working on that is important. So thank you very much for all of your work. Can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the fall 2023 staffing update, please?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Anything else tonight for the board? No? All right. Well, when we meet next, we'll be, 2 days into school, finish the 3rd day. So good luck to everybody who's sending people off. Can I get a motion and a second for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.